Hello, welcome to Curious Kim Dennis. This is the channel where I speak about everything that I'm curious about. And today I have with us Erin Rose. Erin is known as the Light Witch. Erin is a colour therapist, a yoga instructor, a women's circle teacher and facilitator. She's a full moon and new moon ritual facilitator as well. And I'm very inspired by my interactions with Erin. So I wanted to bring her here for a series of questions here to Curious Kim Dennis. So thanks for joining us. And most of all, Erin, thank you so much for being a part of this channel.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. So we'll just jump into it. So what does a witch do and what made you decide to become a witch? Because witch is a word that I have always felt loaded with. It's such a fearful word for me. So I'm inspired by your ability to build such a successful community as a witch.
Well, it's taken a fair few years. Firstly, I was doing colour therapy.
Yep.
And I guess then I went and studied yoga and then started to, I guess, evolve what I shared and how I taught in a way that felt good for me and was, I guess, a piece of me. And so to be called a witch, or to call myself a witch, I guess I didn't really focus too much on it. I guess I just used it as a way, because I'm light witch, light being the colour, light being energy. So I just wanted to focus more on those sorts of elements to it rather than witch as such. But I know that it's also a loaded word that a lot of people can feel a little bit like stuck with.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it has negative connotations attached to it. I think you see a lot of things, or like a lot of imagery out there that are like dark. And then you've got other groups and organizations who can, put their perceptions on it of, being a part of devil's work and that kind of negative energy to it.
Religions are very anti-witch.
Yeah.
And witches were burnt on the stake not so long ago. And
yes. So, I guess that's a lot of the reasons why people are kind of like not wanting to embody their own witch, embody their own nature. And that's kind of why I feel very passionate about saying it out loud and saying that it's okay to say yourself that if you want to, that you're a witch, because it's pretty simple. Being a witch is just being in touch with the seasons and the cycles of nature. It's about being in tune with who you are internally and what you've got to share. And you don't have to dress a certain way. You don't have to speak a certain way. You just need to be you and all of those little quirks that you have and just share it like that. And so I guess that's why I'm hell-bent on being very authentic in what I share and how I share it on social media, because I want to connect with other people on that level. And I love when I finally connect with the person and they say, me too, are you reading my thoughts? Was that for me, like personally?
Yeah.
After I've sent out a group email or something like that, and they've kind of come back going, wow, I just feel every single thing that you're saying.
And are there any common themes where people have that response to you that you're sharing?
Well, I think I attract a lot of the people going through very similar things that I have in my experience. So the more that I've lived life and the more I've experienced things, and the more I've, with life comes disappointment or pain or hurt, and the way I've processed that and then being able to articulate it and share it, I think has helped other people give themselves, like I've given them words, I've given them an understanding about how they've felt, and they've kind of reflected to me and said, I didn't know how to say that, or like I didn't understand it myself until you said it in words. And now I'm like, that was exactly me, or that is exactly me. And so I guess through my experience, I'm attracting people who are people pleasers, who have been, maybe taken advantage of in certain ways because of their compassionate, empathic nature, people who are empaths, people who are in service to others, people who are, like, I'm going to say severely kind, too kind sometimes, people who don't, or maybe haven't really learned how to build their boundaries in a way that feels good to them. And I'm that person too, and have been that person, and I've grown, and through my growth I'm able to share things that could help others build their own healthy boundaries, or build their own sense of self in relationship, or sense of self in the world, especially in their purpose. I get a lot of people who are at a crossroads in their life, who are looking to go either this way or that way, and they're just really not sure. And so it's mostly through all of the training and the courses that I did with colour therapy that has helped me, I guess, get to or reach those people who are confused, they're lost, they don't know which way to go, or they feel stuck in a place that they don't really want to be in anymore, whether it's their career or...
Yeah, what do those people look like? Like, what type of people have you been working with colour therapy?
Do you mean...
So,
what do you mean?
Are they professionals? Are they...
Yeah. Well, most of them that I see and still see now and have like a loyal connection with are people who are psychologists and counsellors and social workers, they're nurses, they're people with, they're highly intelligent, building their own businesses and things like that. People who want to help others, usually.
It feels like it's a collective. It's a collective theme among everybody to want to be better. Yeah, like their own self-growth. They want their own self-growth, and they want to also help others. So can you tell me about colour therapy? What is colour therapy?
Yeah. A lot of people like book it in and they don't know why, but they're just so curious, and it's whether they're like, they love colour, or they know about the chakras, or they're just interested. But colour therapy is essentially an energetic system that helps, I guess, clear and cleanse the energetic body. The energetic body being the electromagnetic field that surrounds our whole being, or our whole physical body. So it's this wide, an arm's distance all the way around us. And it's this energetic system that's feeding in all of this information all of the time. And it's coming through and it's feeding into the chakra system. And then it's moving out into the sensations through the physical body, the nerve endings through the spinal column. And then it's feeding our emotional body and our mental body, and then, our physical body as well. So colour therapy is a way to recognize and help yourself. It's like you can select a colour intuitively, because your being, your entire system, it's because it's what your being needs the most. So when you relate, anyone can do this. Like when you choose the colour blue, or you're attracted to the colour blue, most people will talk about relating to that colour as being peaceful, or the ocean, calmness.
The colour of the sky?
The colour of the sky sometimes. Mostly people are connecting with ocean, but there's no right or wrong here. It's about what you connect with.
Well, the ocean is blue because the colour of the sky is blue, maybe?
Is that right?
I think so.
The reflective, what is above, so below. It really, it's about how you relate to the colour. And so I'm just the facilitator, drawing out of you what needs to be explored or discovered or remembered within you. And so people are being attracted to these colours because they need more of a sense of calm, or they need to remember or remind themselves that washing themselves clean in the ocean, like it's a cleansing for them, or that they need to be more connected to the cycles of the ocean or the tides, or it just depends on the conversation that we have and what.
So what if I chose pink?
Well, why would you choose pink? Like what how do you relate to pink? Like what does it mean to you when you see it?
Sunset, sunrise, love and softness, I guess. A pink rose. It's just a very pretty, soft colour.
Yeah. And so how does that relate to you in your life right now with softness and...
Very much so. Yeah, pink. I'm attracted to pink at the moment because I guess I am in a soft place. I'm in a soft mindset. I love my puppy very much. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot of love for my family, my puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to surround yourself with all of these beautiful pink tones and colours. And
so how would you, if I was having colour therapy with you, how would you work with pink?
Oh, so we work with the aura cleanse, the electromagnetic cleanse. So it's liquid. It's a liquid made up of plants and herbs and energies of crystals and gems.
So this is colour therapy?
This is the colour therapy,
wow.
Yeah. So then we apply that to our aura and we take it through the aura. And the aura is intelligently selecting where it needs to take that energy or that pink light the most.
This is why I love your yoga classes so much. You do them in the yin yoga classes. I do colour therapy in your yin yoga classes.
In the rituals?
Yes.
Yeah, in the full moon rituals. Yes. Yes.
Oh, so I'm having colour therapy in your...
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a little ritual for the entire energetic body and the energetic system. They've done it, they've taken photos of your aura before and after you've used this. It's called Kirlian photography. And they'll see your aura, like there's got all of these tentacles or these energetic channels moving out and through you and around you. And at the beginning when they take a photo before you use it, maybe the energetic channels are a bit frazzled and fried because you're stressed, or maybe they're depleted because you're exhausted. But after the aura cleanse, after what we use, the aura is becoming refreshed and rejuvenated.
I feel that.
Yeah, you feel lighter.
That, yeah.
You feel lighter. You're allowing all of the stagnancy, the energy that's become stuck or stagnant, the things that have become attached to the aura, to now leave the aura, leave the body, and also be able to like keep moving that energy through the system. So if you've ever had things like acupuncture before, you'll know that feeling too. This is very similar in the feeling, but we can self-apply this to ourselves. We can self-select colours because we're now intuitively tuning into our own being's needs and choosing from that place, and then applying that to our electromagnetic field. Everything has an electromagnetic field around it, even the planet does. So we're wanting to protect and cleanse that from all of the things that we consume, the environment that we're in, you know, what's around us and what's becoming
the vibrations
attached.
It's all vibrational, it's all frequency.
Yeah, it's all frequency.
What was life like for you growing up? How did you get here?
Well, my life growing up, I think when I was a young girl, I always remember like watching Hocus Pocus, and I was always into this enchanting like nature. And my grandmother was amazing. She'd always take me down to the bottom of the garden when the sun was going down, and she'd tie these cute little these lolly wrappers on the tree, and she'd call them the fairies. So we'd go down and we'd see the fairies as the sun was going down, and that was the fairy garden. She'd write us each a story about us. So she wrote us a fairy tale, but it was specific to us, you know, and this little fairy tale of the rabbit jumping down the back of the garden. He stole all the carrots and all of these beautiful little things. So I always grew up with this enchantment and magic that was around me all of the time. And so, yeah, and I think when I grew up also, I was quite a strong-willed kind of person as well. I always like stood up for what I believed in. I stood up for everyone around me. I was just naturally
anti-bully,
but also I think more of a leader.
Courageous.
You know, yeah, wanting to kind of make sure that everyone was okay and standing up for them.
What's your star sign?
I'm a Leo. Yeah.
Lion-hearted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So fierce as well, you know, like I'll stand up and do anything that needs to be done for my pride, my people, you know, whoever that is in my close circle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
what about studies? Did you study much?
Well, when I left high school, like I wanted to study fashion, but they didn't have like a course that I could find that was in relation to business. I was into more numbers and spreadsheets, so it was all about design, and I knew that I wasn't wanting to take that path of design. I knew that wasn't my gift.
Yep.
So I went overseas. I worked for a couple of years. Like I worked in an architect office and kind of did the business administration and like did all of this kind of reception.
So highly
admin.
detailed.
Hugely. Oh my God. I had a mentor when I did this course, and every time she'd hand me back my homework and she'd be like, Erin, attention to detail. And I'd have to take it back and like go back again and do it until it was pretty much perfect for her, which is really interesting because I know that the most feedback I get now today with my rituals is the attention to detail is phenomenal. So I think
she was a true mentor.
I thank her for that gift. But yeah, then I went overseas for a couple of years and I went like a little bit wild, but I also just wanted to explore Scotland. That was kind of a part of my heritage as well. And then just explored Europe, which was an amazing experience for a couple of years. And then I did a retreat. I attended a retreat over there. It was in Italy, and my friend who was Scottish Italian, she dragged me to this retreat, and it was all in Italian. And I'd learnt the language because I studied the language because, like, you know, my uncle's Italian and I grew up with an Italian family, so Italian culture was important for me. I wanted to explore it more.
Family connection. Food,
Oh.
nonna,
marinaras, spaghetti bolognese, And so I did this retreat in Italy, and this retreat just completely blew me open. Like I remember doing self-massage one of the days and just starting to cry, and I didn't know why. I just was bawling my eyes crying because I think it was the first time that I really truly felt super connected to myself and my body. And then by the 5th day on this retreat, we were doing all these mindful techniques and music, and by the 5th day I was just I was breaking down, which was my breakthrough, and I would call that my spiritual awakening in this lifetime. That's what happened.
What year was that?
That was 2009.
Okay.
And yeah, I was 23.
A lot of people are talking about awakenings from, say, 2008 to 2013. That's a common theme for me.
I wonder what the astrology was happening in that time, around that time.
I'd love to find out from you.
And interesting too, because the global financial crisis was in that time, so a lot of things were crumbling, things were coming down, you know, so it's interesting to look back at what the astrology was doing at that time.
We can definitely get back to that if you'd be interested.
Yeah.
If you're curious, we're going to be doing that.
Yeah, I've got someone who you can talk to as well.
Great. Okay. Right. So you've had a breakthrough in Italy, and you've come back and done what post-breakthrough? Awakening.
Yeah. So then I went and visited my very good friend who became my mentor, and she was my very first boyfriend's grandmother.
Grandmother. Right. So she's an elder.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so we just had this very special connection. Although I wasn't seeing him anymore, it was a soul connection.
Lovely.
For sure. And she taught me everything that I wanted to know. So I just would go to her house, I would ask her so many questions, I'd look through her library, and then she'd take me to her healing room, and she introduced me to colour therapy. And she introduced me to Reiki. And she introduced me to meditation.
Yep.
And we would just sit and talk for hours, and I would go over so often, and so eventually I did all of the courses through colour therapy, and it was life-changing. It was also, I was using it a lot. So I was using the entire system. It's called Aura Soma, and aura meaning light, and soma meaning body. So the light body. So Aura Soma means that it's working with the light body, that subtle electromagnetic field.
Somatic. Yeah, right.
So all of the subtle things, right, that we can't see, but we can feel them.
Yeah.
Like we know what our physical anatomy is, but
When you just have that bad feeling or that good feeling, so that's aura somatic.
Well, that's Aura Soma is the organisation, and
it's a somatic. It's the body's response of how my aura is vibrating at that time.
That's right.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's great to hear you put that into words. So it's all your intuition, all your thoughts, all your feelings. We can't hold them, but we get the sense of them. You know?
Which is nice when I go to the beach and I feel, cleansed.
Yeah.
Like the beach will cleanse me. If I sit in nature and I walk barefoot, I feel cleansed.
Yeah.
It's not just a fad.
That's right.
It's really cleansing.
Because
nature
and
the sun
holds that vibration and energy for us.
Right. And so being a witch means that you're just you can alchemize nature.
Well, you're in tune with the energies. You're attuned to the energies of where you're at, where you are, what you're surrounded in, and
that's not a bad thing.
Not at all. No. No. But you see, what's happened, right, is the sovereignty, the autonomy that you have over yourself cannot be penetrated by anyone else.
But can I do something bad to somebody because I understand nature? Do I need to be scared of a witch?
I guess you could use it in a manipulative way. You could manipulate energy and manipulate it to the way you want it to go if it's against someone's will.
Ooh, but isn't there a karma law that you'd get that back
100%
threefold or tenfold?
Yeah.
So if I was to do something to somebody, I would get that back?
Yeah, because
if somebody was to do something to me, they would get that back?
Yeah, because you're creating that energy within yourself. So if you're manipulating someone against their will, that is something that you're harboring and creating within yourself. Now, I heard this the other day, that when you're creating this energy, there is now an entity that's going to be created, and that's going to take on its own form and be there as well. It's like an orb, it's around you.
Yep.
But that's because we've created that energy.
Wow.
That person has, in a sense, it's never your fault when someone's manipulating you, but in a sense, your boundaries haven't. You allow someone to influence you, or you don't.
What if I pray about it? What if I intend protection over myself?
Yeah.
Can that
helps
would
you
protect
protect
me?
yourself? Yeah.
Right. So in the mornings, my intention is to be protected against any energies.
Yep.
White light myself.
Only unconditional
Sage.
love to enter this space in my environment. Yeah. And then your continual thoughts throughout the day are going to be like that as well.
Is that why yoga helps me?
100%, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So you've become a yoga instructor post-retreat?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the magic of yoga? Why do I feel so good after yoga?
And you're talking about yin?
I love yin.
Yeah. Because I just feel like there's different elements to the power yoga, the vinyasa, and then there's different elements to a yin yoga as well.
I've also really loved Bikram, but that's very masculine, that's very yang, and I'm just attracted to softness at the moment.
Yeah, well that's it.
That's yin.
See, this is where you're at the moment. So yin, you're wanting to harness and nourish that yin element within you, which is the moon side, it's the feminine side, it's the softness. So you could imagine, all of that holds its own power. Someone to be rested within themselves, you hold so much power in that. And I think, circling back to that witch question, is that when that woman or man is rested in their own power and knowing that nothing can penetrate them unless they allow it, that's very, what's the word? It can be confronting for some other people who want to control you, say. So that's why, people in other organizations, religions and things like that, tried to shut them down because they had too much autonomy over themselves. They couldn't be controlled or manipulated.
Yeah, look, religious structures are very anti the word witch.
Yeah.
Very anti.
They're keeping that alive from, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, that story.
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit indoctrinated into my mental scripts.
Yeah, and possibly, you're still carrying an experience within your aura that is from a past life, that when you were burnt at the stake.
I shall burn sage, I shall set my intentions, and I shall continue with yoga.
Exactly. Until that is gone.
Yeah.
Until you've released that karmic past and experience. But you're carrying with you the wisdom of it. And so maybe in this lifetime, what you're doing now is you're becoming curious about it because you want to keep reawakening and relearning and remembering your true nature.
And when people have called me a witch in the past, it's caused me to prove myself as a good person. I'm not a witch.
Yeah.
Because automatically I think of, I'll get you, my pretty.
I
don't have a wart on the end of my nose. I don't wear a black cape. It's just, this funny thing where I just feel like I have to prove myself, but I need to move beyond that. And I do, meeting people like you and experiencing your work and, your courage and the fact that you call yourself a light witch, I'm just completely inspired and intrigued by it.
But here we are today, I think the last couple of decades we've been rising and just burning all of those ridiculous stories and perceptions that other people have and becoming, rising up and standing more in our power as whatever we want to call ourselves now, isn't it? Like it's really right now in this day, everyone's starting to identify with however they would like to call themselves. And I think we could take that opportunity as witches and say exactly that and be comfortable in that now and have community around us where we also support each other to...
One thing that I'm thoroughly enjoying is the women's circles that you facilitate. So what was the inspiration for you to set up a women's circles facilitator course?
Well, this happened, it's funny, I just got goosebumps. Another like subtle reaction of like goodness and truth. But when I came back from overseas and I went to my mentor and she sent me to a circle, and then that woman was definitely a witch. I didn't know it at the time, but she shut that circle as just 10 of us, and I was a part of that circle. And it's all divine alignment and timing, right? Because I was the youngest in that group. They were all a lot older than me, but I was a part of that group. And so they would share things that I would sit there and just be like, I don't know. Like they'd say, what did you experience? Or what happened for you? And I'm like, I don't know. And I did know, but I was too afraid or I wasn't connected enough to say it. So I started very early to be a part of...
How old were you?
That was when I was 23.
Wow.
23,
okay.
24.
Yeah. Beautiful age.
Yeah, I think so too. And so I began there, and I was supported so well by these women that I think when I then did my colour therapy, I was just doing one-on-ones then. It's just a one-on-one consultation. And then I went to, and then I was doing, in my work I was doing, because I love to work for myself, because again, the autonomy for me is very important. I was doing party plan Intimo lingerie. I was fitting people, I was fitting women, especially, obviously, with bras. And I would go into their house and they would invite 10, 15 women over to their house, right? And I would fit every single one of them and I would make them feel really great about themselves, and I'd fit them with these new beautiful bras that would fit them properly, because my God, I could, like the amount of boobs that weren't in good bras. And it was a women's circle. Now that I look back at it, I think I'm just having that revelation now, but look back at it, it was, and I was holding space, I was sharing with them, and I was really connecting and talking more about what it's like to be a woman and how to feel comfortable as a woman as well, and then fitting them with this beautiful like undergarments. So then I studied yoga as well, and yoga, I guess, just gives you this wonderful experience of facilitating a whole class full of people, and sometimes there'd be 30 plus people in that class. So that was building my capacity to hold space for a lot of people, especially when you go to yoga. There's a lot of people that go to yoga because they need it.
Yes.
So you're having to hold space for that. So over the years of me just doing this thing, I was learning how to hold space and how to conduct circles. So then I guess, I can't even remember what my first one was, but it could have been a colour therapy circle. And so I just applied what I did on a one-to-one scale in a group. I think that's what I did first. So then I did that. And then it's just evolved over time. So then I would come away from that experience, and again, my attention to detail brain wants to like perfect things, make it better for next time. How could I do that better? And so it just evolved over time. And then I did my yin training. After doing my yin training, like a lot of things changed for me, because I recognized how much more rested I could be in my body, like on a next level, you know? And so I also realized how depleted many of us were. Lots of people coming to my yin yoga classes just completely exhausted, and I still feel like a lot of people, you know, need it.
Yeah, there's a lot of exhaustion. A lot of exhaustion. But I think
because we're living in a man's world, we're living still in that patriarchy, which I think we're starting to change.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's burnout. It's too harsh. It's too hard.
And women are, in my opinion, women are trying to do the man's role, and I think there's a fine line here in what I'm saying in that.
Yes.
But we also need to be acknowledging our cycles and what our hormones and cycles do within that time, and when we need more rest and when we have the energy to go.
Yeah, so but instead of drinking 10 coffees on the day of your bleed.
Oh, that's like makes me so sad.
Yeah, but that's
do people do that? I think I live in a bubble.
Maybe
here
you're
now.
sitting with somebody who has. Yeah, you know, I just never. I'm at that age also. Like I never understood the importance of cycles.
Yeah,
I grew up in a masculine world.
Yeah,
you know, I grew up with a masculine led family.
And I think it's all relevant, right? I think it's all relevant because this is now women going, I can do this because they've been so suppressed in the past, and I can pay my own bills, and I can, you know, buy my own house and things like that. And I think that's really relevant to where we came from. I think now we're just needing to have a little cup of that and a little cup of that.
Yeah.
And bring back some balance.
And I don't think the rise of the divine feminine is, you know, putting a hand up to men. I think the more I step into my femininity, the more I love men.
Yeah, exactly.
I love them more.
Yeah.
I become a greater source of love.
And the more we
and more
can
inspiration.
Give them space to be a divine masculine as well, but also the divine masculine within ourselves. How can we balance these out so they can support us in doing what we are here to do? So this is why I'm here, you know, speaking now personally, to help people remember, why are you here? What are your gifts? What are you meant to do? So we're not kind of going in the, well, I'm going to do it all, or it's like, is that what you're meant to do? Is that what you're here for? You know, let's ask the question. Let's ask ourselves. Let's take some time to reflect. Is that really what you're here for?
Yeah, I think it's nice to kind of smash the illusion of being a boss babe is everything. You know, I feel a lot of tension around that. You know, get it done. I feel like that's very masculine.
I hate the words hustle. I hate the word busy. I won't use that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's...
I'm protesting against it.
Yeah. That's a completely different... yeah.
We're off track.
Yeah. So can I just... I'll close on a couple of questions. So what is so important about a full moon? Why do you hold full moon events? I love your full moon events. But what made you put together a full moon event?
I think
because I've always wanted to do something for the full moon. I just didn't know how to do it
and what to do exactly. Yeah, and it's nice to be, you know, held and guided in a space
with
like
another
that.
50 people that I don't know, and you know, I'm doing all these beautiful rituals. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Well,
I think on the full moon, I just, you know, had the calling. Like people were wanting to do it, and it doesn't. I think no matter what you believe in, and everyone looks up at that sky and they stop. They automatically stop and they look up at that full moon. They're all sitting along the beach, on the hills, just to watch that moon rise, and that's whether they believe in moons or witches or anything. There's a power that moon holds.
And look, it's very true that coming into the full moon and during the full moon, police stations are overrun with calls.
Yeah, and hospitals.
So everybody's affected by the full moon. So there's a lot of influence there.
Yeah, because
it's real.
Because anyone who surfs, anyone or a fisherman knows that the gravitational pull of the Earth and the moon at that point in time, when it's in that position in relation to the sun, and there's a full moon, there is a tide that is bigger than usual. It's called a king tide, and on a new moon it's a spring tide. So the tides will change because of that moon cycle. And if the gravitational force is enough to pull the ocean, and we are 80% water, it has enough force to bring things to the surface in our own bodies.
Which is why it's so important to do your cleansing practices, your yogas, your spins, your moving.
It's the perfect time.
Yeah, wow.
It's the time where all of the emotions rise up to the surface. So instead of, don't avoid it, come in and look at it. Come in and cleanse what you need to cleanse. Write down the things that are haunting you possibly. And say some prayers, say some wishes, light a candle, and make some intentions for yourself so that you have the choice, you have the inner power to make change if you want to.
And you do a burning as well. So I write on a piece of paper what I want to let go of.
Yes.
And I burn it.
Yes.
In a little cauldron.
So potent.
Which is very witchy.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Yeah. And anyone can buy a little cauldron or a fireproof dish and just, burn that piece of paper of all of the things that they are really wanting to intend to let go, whether it's a bad thought that they've been having or, someone in their life they don't want anymore, or, something that they want to release. Like burning that and watching that burn to ash is what's that?
Cathartic?
Yeah, cathartic. There's something that moves in you and you walk away so much lighter. I feel it in those circles. I feel everyone come in with all of their stuff and I'm like sitting there holding the space, and then by the time I do all of the practices and guide you through those practices, everyone is walking away lighter. By the time you're eating the chocolates and the strawberries that I give you, you're walking away so much lighter.
Do you remember one of the events, I don't know if I'll edit this out or not, but one of the events, I actually came in, I was walking up the stairs and I just started to feel so nauseous.
Oh my God,
and I had to run to the bathroom and I was physically ill.
Yeah.
Then I felt so much better and I came back in and I just finished the ritual, and there was no sickness. My body was just letting go of something.
It was a purge.
It's unbelievable.
Did I tell you someone else had that same experience on the same night, which has never happened before?
Unbelievable. I really loved it.
Yeah.
So I'll just close on this. Erin Rose, the Light Witch, what does a perfect world look like to you?
A perfect world.
If the world was perfect, what would it be like?
I just don't believe in it. I don't think we can have a perfect world. I don't think we can. I think we need disruption. I think we need interruption. I think we need the balance of the light, the dark, the shadows for us to grow. I don't think we can have just light. So in answering the question, for it to be perfect, I think we would have the vast range of emotion that we experience. And my hope and my wishes for everyone, though, is that they accept all of that within them, and that we don't judge the emotions, that we can accept ourselves for who we really are. That would be my hope, and for a perfect world would be that we all accept ourselves for who we are uniquely, because there are no two stars the same in that sky, and the same with us. There are no two same people, but we all have this uniqueness. And if we can just acknowledge and accept our uniqueness, and we accept each other's uniqueness, I think this world could operate on such a more harmonious level. Yeah.
That sounds very nice to me. So that's Erin Rose for Curious Kim Dennis, and I hope you enjoyed that. Talk to you soon. Hope you liked that episode. Subscribe to Curious Kim Dennis. If you've got any feedback, please paste them in the comment box below. I'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. Also, if you have something you think I might be curious about, if you can't talk about it, I'll probably want to talk about it. Get in touch with me at Curious kimdennis.com, and you'll hear from me soon. And I look forward to the next episode. Thanks. I hope you enjoyed it.